Welcome to A Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, lead practitioner at Holistic Natural Health Australia and #1 best-selling author. In this podcast, I aim to give you practical tips on how to accelerate and sustain your health, increase your financial, spiritual and emotional wealth, and to look at something that haunts many of us needlessly, weight loss. In some episodes, I'll have guests available to give you even more tips, but in others, the floor is yours. Drop us a line at A Magical Life Podcast on Facebook and let me know what you would like to know more about. Now, sit back and enjoy, because it is time for you to create and truly discover a magical life. Welcome back to A Magical Life. I'm your host, Magic Barclay. Today we have a listener question. How do I thrive during lockdown? Well, we try and skirt around this issue a fair bit on this podcast because I want this to be here for generations. And I really think people will look back at all these lockdowns and go, what was that? A moment in history. But it's the reality that we're living in at the moment, all around the world. There are these cruel lockdowns. I understand they're happening for a reason, but I don't think personally that they're achieving the desired result. What they are achieving is loneliness, isolation, cutting people off from their families, loss of income, loss of business. It's really taking effect on a lot of areas of our lives. But most of all, it's taking effect on our health. Now, aside from the suicide rates reportedly going up, when you are unhappy, when you are isolated and alone, you actually lower your body's frequency. Now, we have this wonderful system called the immune system. And what the immune system does is it seeks out low frequencies. So it seeks out pathogens like viral particles, like bacterium, like fungi. They all have low frequencies. Now, when we're unhappy, we have low frequencies. So when we're bored, when we feel apathy, when we're upset, sad, angry, fearful, alone, when we feel shut down, when we feel isolated, we have low frequencies. And what our immune system does is says something's wrong in your body because you have a low frequency. So what it does, it sends off an attack, looking for the invader, looking for the pathogen. The pathogen is how you're feeling. Now, more about that in our next episode when we discuss the P and EI of trauma. But for now, how do you thrive during a lockdown? Well, we've discussed it before. Do something that you love. On this podcast, we often talk about finding the joy in every day, finding the small things that can help you. And this is no more important than when you're in lockdown. So what can you do? You can go for a walk. You can sit in the garden. You can play with the pets, play with the kids. Get the family out and get a good old board game going. There are a lot of things that you can do. You can try cooking new recipes. You can try gardening. You can learn a new skill. This is a great time to learn a new language online, or teach yourself how to knit or sew or tapestry or paint. There are a lot of things we can do to raise our frequency and thrive during a lockdown. Now, I wrote a blog recently. Actually, I wrote a blog last year. There you go. We were in lockdown that long, about lockdown eating. There's a difference between getting food delivered to your door or having takeaway all the time in lockdown to pass the time. There's a big difference between that and learning how to cook. Now, I have one of my sons at the moment learning how to cook. He can't leave the home. He can't go to uni. He can't go to work. He can't really do anything. He can't see his friends. So twice a week, he's cooking dinner for us. Do I always like the recipes he chooses? Hell no. He and I have completely different tastes. But there's a whole lot of upsides. Because he's taking ownership of the recipes, he's choosing them, he's cooking them, he's following them. This kid is finally eating vegetables. Off his own bat, off his own volition, he's eating vegetables and we're all eating them. He's thriving on taking ownership of 2 meals a week. It's giving me a bit of time off so I can do things that I love, like going out in my garden, raising seedlings, mowing the lawn. I actually love that stuff. Going for a walk, seeing the kangaroos that live down the road. So because he's doing something new, he's learning this new technique, he's growing as a person, he's raising his frequency. Now he's actually eating things that have some color and some nutrition. And we're all enjoying the experience. Now, it's just one example. If you love reading books, get some books delivered and make yourself a book nook. You know, some comfy cushions, a beanbag or a nice big chair, a throw blanket, and a stack of books. Buy yourself a little teapot with an infuser in it and make yourself some gorgeous loose leaf tea for your book nook. There's a lot of things you can do to thrive during a lockdown. It doesn't need to be all negative. Now, with the commonality of things like Zoom, you can actually connect face to face with your loved ones. It's not the same as a warm hug, but maybe post to each other a shirt so that part of your pheromones, part of your scent is with your loved one. Maybe do drive-by door drops if you're close by and, you know, drop off a flower from your garden or a pot of soup or a tea bag that you love and want to share the experience with someone. You know, there's a lot of things that you can do to make this less isolating and less damaging than it is. Now, wherever in the world that you're listening, I really hope that you're getting some tips now on how to thrive, not just during lockdown, but any time, because this can be applied when we're not locked up. So find something that you love. Find the joy in every day. No matter what's happening in the world, the sun still shines, the rain still falls, the birds still tweet. You need to just find that, raise your frequency, help your immune system, help the rest of the systems in your body, because this is a cascade. No system works alone. Help your family through it. Help your friends, help your kids, but most of all, help yourself. Nobody else is going to do this for you. The powers that be that are locking you down are not giving you the tools on how to survive and thrive. They're just doing what they see as their jobs. What your job is to look after your health. This is the most important thing, not just now, but any time, is to be what people call selfish. Put yourself first. Because if you don't, no one else will. There's an old saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. So stop trying to do that. Start filling your cup with things that are good for you, that make you happy, things that will emanate to the rest of your family, the rest of your household. If you live alone, make sure that you connect with at least 1 or 2 people, because we are primates, human beings, and primates are social. Primates need a group. Now, in the animal kingdom, it's called a group, a troop, a mob, a collection. We need that. We are no different to any other primate. So stop living in isolation. Just because you are in lockdown, do not isolate yourself. There are plenty of safe and healthy ways to connect with people and to connect with yourself, because when you isolate yourself from you. I hope I've given you some tips today on how to thrive during lockdown. I thank the listener that sent in that question. In our next episode, I will be discussing the PNEI of trauma. For now, go forth and create your magical life. Thanks for listening today. Please subscribe to hear future episodes, leave a review, and share this podcast. You can follow us on Facebook at A Magical Life Podcast or at Holistic Natural Health Australia. That's holistic with a W. You can find us on Instagram at Holistic Natural Health or at www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. That's where you'll access all sorts of articles, freebies, and more.